listening to Game On DC, your home for local gaming and esports news in the DMV. Find the show on social media at Game On DC and by using the hashtag GoDC. Without further ado, here are your hosts, John and Joey.
What is up, DMV, and welcome to Game On DC, the show dedicated to you, the gamers and esports fanatics, right here in the East Coast capital of esports. My name is John Fiasco Byram, alongside Joey Courtside King McDermott. Joey, how was your weekend? How are you?
Weekend was great, John. We had the opportunity to kind of work on a global release for an esports event for an unannounced title at the time, now announced, Core Disruption. It's a tank VR game, so we had a lot of fun doing that at the University of Maryland. Super Smash Con was this past weekend. There's a lot going on.
There's a ton of stuff going on. It was another fantastic weekend here in the DMV as well. Big shout out to all the people joining us here on Twitch today for the live show. The live show can be caught Monday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern time in the off season, which we're currently in. It runs every 2 weeks. So mark it on your calendars. The next one will be the 1st of November. It's going to be easy to remember. I don't have that sugar hangover. And if you do have it, just hang out with us the very next day. It's completely fine. The live show is where all the fun happens. But if you're unable to tune in for the live event, make sure you catch the podcast version of the show, as Game On DC is available on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, and pretty much everywhere else you can pull an RSS feed for a podcast. Just look up Game On DC and we will be there for you. And also, last but not least, you might as well be following the show on social media. You're already listening to the show. You're already watching the show. Why not follow the show on social media as well? Get all the cool updates as the week goes on, so you don't have to wait a week or 2 weeks in the off season to find out all the cool information for gaming and esports news here in the DMV. That is at Game On DC on all social media platforms. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. No TikTok as of yet. Joey will not commit to that. I will still talk with him about that, though. It's worth a shot. All right, Joey. So it is the off season, but we do have a little bit of news here coming in from our friends in the Overwatch League, mainly the Washington Justice. First and foremost, Joey, we had 2 back-to-back birthdays with the organization here in the last 2 days. Yesterday was good friend of the show, Grant Paranjape's birthday as well. He had the VP of Esports Business for the Washington Justice. Good friend of the show. Again, happy birthday, Grant. That was yesterday on Sunday, but Joey, today also, because if one birthday isn't good enough in a week, 2 birthdays makes it even better. The general manager of the Washington Justice, Pre, is celebrating his birthday today as well.
Yeah, absolutely. 2 back-to-back birthdays like that. I feel like that was almost planned, to be completely honest. But hopefully they had a great time there celebrating. Unfortunately, the Justice not able to bring home the trophy this year, John, but I feel like we're looking good heading into next year. And I think kicking it off with 2 nice birthdays here in October is a great way to start.
You know, I'm just going to say this. I'm pretty sure asking like the birthdays during the hiring process might be an HR violation. So I don't know if they actually planned it or not, but it's all good. It is all good. And Joey, in the roster department, really in the coaching department for the Justice, assistant coach Ty Dollar joins the Justice from the LA Gladiators, where he was in recently the same position as well, coming over. That is really the only addition that we have so far for that Justice roster. That we saw several players already depart into free agency. We are still waiting words on other players as well. A lot of the players, I believe, have multiple year contracts, but nonetheless, that team is going to get a slight overhaul going forward for the next season, especially since Overwatch 2 is going to be coming out, and we all hate tanks apparently because we're dropping from 2 to 1.
Yeah, absolutely. The LA Gladiators, a nice run toward the end of the season this year. Bringing one of their coaches over, I think, is a good move. The Justice have a history of sharing coaches with the Gladiators as well. So Ty Dollar coming over, bringing that experience, potentially bringing a Tuesday, October 19th birthday as well. We'll have to wait and see on that one. But for now, I think it's a great move overall.
I did check his Wikipedia page. I did not see his birthday on there. So if that actually happened, that would be amazing. Absolutely amazing. Almost as amazing as our next guest who is joining us here today. Another good friend of the show. Joey, it feels like we have a bunch of friends that enjoy coming to hang out with us and chit-chat about gaming and esports news. Joey, without further ado, let's go bring on our special guest here for tonight. He is the founder and CEO of the Game Gym up in Maryland. It's our good friend, Josh Hafkin. What's up, buddy? How you doing, Josh?
Hey, everybody. I'm excited to be here. John, Joey, thank you for having me on. I cannot wait to talk about esports in the DMV with y'all.
All right. And if you're not following the Game Gym on social media, we're not even going to start this segment before we give a plug out here. The Game Gym is doing something absolutely incredible here. If you have not heard of the Game Gym, number one, hi, welcome to outside of the rock you've been living under. The Game Gym, think of it this way. It's like a boys and girls club for gaming and esports. I think that's a very cool way of looking at it as well. But you guys are doing so much more than just that, preparing the next generation of gamers, streamers, content creators, and really the next generation of leaders in this country. You know, I believe all three of us know the benefits of video games in our own lives and what that can bring to the next generation as well. So that is at Game Gym Esports on Twitter and on Instagram. And on the Facebooks too, if I'm not correct. Yep, there we go.
The Facebooks, nice.
The Facebooks, because it's literally boomer central on Facebook. It feels like nowadays. And then also follow Josh as well at ExtraBarbecue. Who does not love a little extra barbecue sauce when they're cooking out or just having pasta? Put more barbecue sauce on. It's whatever. All right, Josh. So it was a fantastic weekend. We were talking a little bit, before the show, and then during the opening here as well. Joey and I had a pretty packed weekend. We had the Core Disruption event at the University of Maryland, but also another live event popped up here this weekend as well, and that was the Super Smash Con Fall event. Which Smash, again, this is a DMV show. We all know how big Smash is here. Josh, you had a chance to go there. You had a booth there. How was it?
It was an amazing event. It was, first off, just, after not being able to be together for, during COVID, Smash was one of those things that was just begging for, just human contact again. It's not like other esports where it's built to be online. It's built to be played, against the person that you're sitting next to. So to be able to go to SmashCon and see everybody and like actually like shake hands and dap. Well, actually nobody was shaking hands because we were COVID safe. We were dapping, we were elbow bumping. But it was awesome. It was really, really fun. And not only was like the event great, but the actual esports that we saw, the grand finals reset that happened was some of the most hype stuff that I've seen in a very long time.
Yeah, there really is nothing like LAN events. I think that's probably one of the hardest things a lot of us are trying to recover from during the COVID period is people who are extroverts, people who enjoy being around large groups of people. I know it's not for everyone. You can enjoy it from the comfort of a couch or at home or with a small group of friends through streaming services. But there is something energetic and just really community building in regards to these LAN events. Because it wasn't too long ago that esports and gaming and even what's now considered pop culture was kind of like taboo almost in a way, was kind of like seen as like the nerdy and geeky thing to do. And now here we are, like we're talking about pro athletes that were late to a PGA press conference because they were watching Call of Duty or they were watching a streamer, or there's pro gamers that stream during their off time also. Like the script has completely flipped. And we're seeing it continue to grow and grow with these LAN events coming back.
100%. And Smash is just so welcoming too. Like, that nerd jock, mentality that you were talking about. Like, I feel like the bridge between those two things has gotten so much, it's been so blurred. And now, gamers are athletes, athletes are gamers, gamers are musicians, musicians are athletes. Like there's just all these different, combinations, and it's cool to be multi-talented and have multiple passions in a way that, like, before I feel like you were put in a box. You were a nerd, you were an athlete, whatever. And I love that Super Smash Brothers, I think, is probably one of the most welcoming and accepting communities out there in terms of like everything from like socioeconomic to like race, color, creed, like whatever it is. It feels like everybody's welcome at Smash events, and that's just like, I don't know, with all the craziness going on in the world, it's nice to know that places like that and good vibes like that still exist.
Oh, 100%. And I think you hit on it also here the Smash community is really great about being open and accepting all kinds of people from all different walks of life. And I think that's something that can honestly be kind of spread out through the entire gaming and esports community as well, is, how opening and accepting it is, because before it felt like, again, 10, 15 years ago, it was one of those things where it's like maybe you and your friends got together and you played split screen on a TV, or you secretly played Dungeons and Dragons and you didn't want anybody in school to find out or anything. And now it's like, that group is like, hey, we've been like not rejected, but kind of like pushed aside for so long that when someone wants to cross the line, if you will, and join our world, it's like, we're like, yes, we don't care that like you're a 250-pound football player or a 110-pound soaking wet, little dude or whatever. I don't know what's trying to go for with that one. Small, I don't know. But anywho, like it's open for everyone. It's great. Like it's amazing. And I think those LAN events are like that shining beacon of what society should look like going forward.
I totally agree. And like, to me, what we saw in terms of like the play was also like one of the most amazing things, because you had people from all over. So the guy who won, Light, is an older dude. He's been in the scene for forever. I think he's probably in his I want to say like late 20s, early 30s. The guy that he beat was one of the young up and coming players from Mexico. So here you have this like teenager from Mexico going up against this, older dude from the USA in a LAN event that we haven't done in forever. The crowd is in the background. Like if you were watching on Twitch on VGBC last night, like the crowd was going nuts. It was awesome. It was a really hype match. And like if you the experience that I got to see on, watching on Twitch was cool, but being there when everybody's like cheering and then when Light won, it felt like people were celebrating not just the win, but like just being together. And that was very, very cool.
I think that's another thing that kind of sets Smash apart as well, is just that age difference that you were mentioning, like an older competitor versus a younger competitor. You don't really see that in League of Legends or CSGO. Like there's a little bit of an age gap here and there, but Smash, I just feel like it's such a wider range to bring everyone together.
Dude, Smash is the best. It's so creative. It's so unique. There's so many different, things that you have to do to be great. And there were amazing matches. And Light had this run, so we got knocked into losers. And every single match that he played, I believe, and somebody could probably quote me on that or correct me on this, but I'm pretty sure that once he got knocked into losers, every single match he played was a best of 5 that went to game 5. And then he gets to grand finals, resets the bracket, and then it goes to game 5 last stock. And like, come on, man. Like, could you ask for anything better in esports? Like that, like a grand finals reset that goes to game 5 last stock is the most hype stuff that you'll witness. And like my only issue is that I had to watch it from my couch and I couldn't be there, shouting and whooping and hollering with everybody there.
Yeah, I will say I love those moments, unless we're like casting, say, Valorant at like 1 a.m. in the morning or anything like that. But yeah, most of the time bracket resets are awesome. I love it.
Been there.
And going down to that final stock in Smash is like the hype is of hype things. It's like that like in Rocket League, which we've been casting lately, it's like that single goal, that golden goal opportunity, one more life, and that's it. And it's just so intense.
It's the best, man. I think that our scene is incredible. The other thing that happened today is our PR, our player rankings came out for MDVA for this past season. Some new people on the PR, some new people, or some people who, like, for the first time have been left off the PR. And the cool thing is there's a number of players in our region who were on the cusp of making PR and then kind of didn't. So, the big thing was like, one, MDVA was when we put out our PR, people were like, wow, damn, like the region's stacked. And also, look at all these names that didn't make PR. And that was a pretty cool thing to see. On Twitter today, everybody was kind of like giving loves to MDVA. And what we've seen in the past is that this region has despite had this amazing scene and having, VGBC and Xanadu, the, premier, everything, we didn't always perform well. And now we have both like the scene and the performance stats to back it up, and people are really like, saying, oh, you got to recognize MDVA is like here in Ultimate. And I think it's like there's a ton of young players just crushing it in the scene. There's these old guys who are still like doing their amazing stuff, and then there's kind of like these wild cards just thrown in there every once in a while too, and that makes for an amazing scene. I wish we get people who play League of Legends and Overwatch and Rocket League to come out like they do for Super Smash Brothers, but hopefully we'll see that in the future.
Well, sticking with SmashCon, Josh, let's dive a little bit more into that. So obviously the events went on. Did you see anything else that stood out to you during SmashCon, or is there anything that really makes this event in particular stand out from other cons?
So SmashCon is special. The organizers are great. They really care about the fan experience, and so they have all kinds of things. So one thing is they had the new Nickelodeon game. There was a $10,000 prize pool added to it. So all of a sudden, like, people got really interested in that. So new fighting game on the scene. That was very cool. And then they also had all these like very cool touches. There was a band there that was playing video game music, but like orchestra style. So you'd be like listening to these violins and you'd be like, wait, is that like Legend of Zelda theme? Like, that's so dope. And like, there was that. And then they also had a cornhole competition. They had beer and wine tasting. They had a number of different things. So they had like an arcade. They've got stuff for the kids, they got stuff for adults, they got stuff kind of for everybody. The vendor section looked great. If you came over and said hey to Game Gym, we appreciate it. But yeah, I mean, I think that SmashCon is so great because, a lot of people either do cons or they do competitions. And SmashCon does a really great job of kind of fusing the two together. And I think Justin, who heads it up, and then Ren and Kevin and like his team are just awesome. And I all props to the Super SmashCon crew, and then VGBC obviously for doing all the production and everything that they do as well.
Absolutely. So you also mentioned a new title, one of the new fighters on the block here, Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl. I know you were recently looking for potential Smash characters. Have you dove into a potential character for this one as well?
I haven't played this game yet. It looks fun. Like, part of me wants to get into it, but in my heart, I just kind of feel like I'm going to play it for like a week or two, and then I'm going to like not play it again. So I'm just going to skip that week or two where I was going to play it.
Love it. Absolutely love it. So the other thing John and I took notice of this weekend, Josh, every time we went on Twitter between casting the event we were at, it seemed like someone was posting about losing to Game Gym at SmashCon. What was that all about, and what was this viral marketing that you guys kind of set fire this weekend?
So let me just say this. The best thing that you can do as an employer is listen to your employees. Like, that's the best thing you can do. And we've got great creative people on our staff. And so when one of our staff members, his tag is Frump, came up to me and was like, hey, I think it'd be cool to do this, and people can challenge. And if they win, they get entered to do this prize. If they lose, they've got to do this. And I was like, yeah, man, go for it. Like, I wasn't sure how it was going to work. And it was awesome. People would challenge our amiibo that he had trained up to be level, 500 or whatever. And you had a chance to beat him. And if you lost, you had to tweet out, I lost to the Game Gym amiibo. And it was amazing. I was not brave enough to face the amiibo myself, but a lot of people did. And it was a great marketing scheme that our staff came up with. So listen to your staff. They always have great advice.
Yeah, it was just one of those things where it was like we toss it to a commercial. I check my phone. I'm like, man, the Game Gym is absolutely destroying people at SmashCon. Like, what's going on? Of course, like, we didn't have enough time to really investigate. We're like, you know what? We're just gonna ask Josh. So, yeah, that's really cool. I mean, it definitely piqued our interest. It piqued a lot of other people's interest. We just thought it was a very cool marketing strategy. I mean, other than everyone having to publicly shame themselves. which is great. Like all these kids are like, I'm happy I lost. It was cool. It was cool. I loved it. It was great. It was good stuff.
Yeah, people were good sports about it, and it was fun. Like a lot of matches came down to kind of like last second decisions and things like that. And there would be people watching people trying to beat the amiibo that had lost the previous round. So like it was very cool. The SmashCon vibe is just awesome, and we always bring setups for our booth because it brings people in. That's all they want to do is play Smash at SmashCon. It makes sense. And so our job is like, how can we be creative and bring people into the scene? And luckily we've got great people on staff who have great ideas.
Absolutely. So let's shift gears here just a little bit. We'll move on from SmashCon. I want to switch over to a thing that the Game Gym helped co-found. That's the Mid-Atlantic Esports Conference. That's something we've talked about and covered quite a bit here on the show as well. And we've worked with Game Gym and the Mid-Atlantic Esports Conference in regards to this too. But it's something that's very unique and a movement that's continuing to grow. Is that collegiate esports scene? I know on Level Up we talk about it from time to time about the NCAA either saying they are interested in it purely for money, if you ask me, versus the actual health and benefit of collegiate esports. Then they're like, oh, you know what? We're too good for it, so we're not going to touch it for now. Kind of attitude they take with it. I'll be completely honest. I don't like the NCAA. That's neither here nor there. And I don't want them to touch esports. But that opens the door for organizations like Game Gym, like Events DC, a partnership that brings together the Mid-Atlantic Esports Conference for Rocket League, for Overwatch, for League of Legends, for tournaments. And the college scene here in the Mid-Atlantic has really, really responded well to it. Last year was the Mid-Atlantic Esports Conference's first inaugural year. Now it's into the second year, and you're already adding member schools to the Mid-Atlantic Esports Conference. Talk to me a little bit about that process of getting schools to buy into esports.
So the way that we got this whole ball rolling was we reached out to all these schools and we said, hey, how can we help? Like what can we do in the collegiate scene that would be beneficial? And they kind of outlined 3 different things. They said competitions. We'd like local competitions. We'd like help creating a pipeline from the talent that is in high school in our area to our colleges in our area. And then how do we help those kids who are, juniors and seniors find jobs and internships on the other side of that? So the MAEC was kind of born out of this, us asking the colleges, what would you like? And them telling us, hey, we want this. And it's been amazing. It started off as Zoom calls that ended up creating this conference. And our job as kind of the commissioners or the organizers is really just to listen to our member schools. So we put out surveys and say, hey, what games do you want to play? What time do you want to play? What days do you want to play on? They give us that feedback, and then we create a schedule and execute that schedule. So, for us, it's really a joy because we get to highlight, the amazing collegiate esports scene in our region. We get to support these, young athletes. And I think that, John, what you touched on in terms of the NCAA, there's a lot of negativity that's surrounded by that. And here we have an opportunity to, hopefully do it a little bit better and look out for kids and look out for people who are, in this scene. The MAEC is a new league. We're still in year 2. We're still learning, but we have some big things on the horizon. I wish some papers were signed and I could drop some juicy deets on the podcast tonight. I'll shoot you guys a message on the back end and let you know what's up. But we've got some really cool things that are coming up for next season, and we've got some awesome stuff that we're wrapping up this season with as well.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you want to break news here on Game on DC, just, hit us up. We'll go live at 2 a.m. in the morning if you want.
All right.
Real quick, a question from controller. It's Blake. I said that with so much disdain, but no, it's all good, Blake. We love you. All right, Blake wants to know who your main is. We already know the answer to this, but we'll go ahead and who is your main? Why are you looking for another character? And who are you leaning towards for that new character?
So since Smash 4, I've mained DDD, and King DDD is just everything that it embodies: strength, professionalism, gorgeousness. I can't think of any other adjectives. I think those are pretty much it. But like, he's just like peak form. And so, I'm a huge DDD fan, and I need, Smash has so many characters. You gotta like have a counter pick. You gotta have that other character. If DDD's not working, who can I pull out? So I've been trying to like play some other characters, some faster characters, some different. I've been playing some Wolf, which is like an MDVA staple. Like if you are in MDVA, like you play Wolf. Like that's a thing that like has occurred, and that's kind of why I shied away from it at first, even though I really like his playstyle. But I was like, I don't want to be like the 500th Wolf. But we'll see. I'm still kind of feeling it out. I'm going on dates with some characters to see like how it goes and what our vibe is like. I'm not ready to commit to Wolf yet, but we're dating. We're exploring things.
Is it serious dating, or is it just like like you're on you're on the second date and you might want to start holding hands?
I'm going on dates with a couple different people, and I'm being transparent with Wolf about that.
Oh, that's
like
good.
I'm seeing other people, and also I'm interested in pursuing this relationship with you. My wife is downstairs watching The Bachelorette, and I feel like I'm on The Bachelorette right now.
You're looking out to give roses or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Now I know Joey had a hot take here on Twitter for what he recommended your secondary character is going to be. And honestly, I feel like if there's anyone who can teach you the ways of this character, it would be Joey, since he is like the king of this character. And of course, that character is Jigglypuff.
Jigglypuff is legit, man. You know what? What I've learned through Smash Bros. Is that if you know your character, you could beat anybody. And like, obviously there's some matchups that are just so bad that it's going to be really hard. But like we saw on the Smash World Tour 2 weekends ago, it was Jigglypuff. Wait. Oh, you said Kirby, right? Or Jigglypuff?
No, he said Jigglypuff.
Jigglypuff.
He said Jigglypuff. All right.
Kirby's awesome though.
I like Kirby. Yeah.
A Jigglypuff was going off on the Smash World Tour, and it's just Jigglypuff super light. If you hit them, they'll immediately die. But if you can get somebody off stage with all of those jumps and the aerial mobility, you can just like gimp them and like get them out of there. So, maybe I should look at Puff a little bit more seriously.
Perfecting the Puff. I also had a little fun on that email chain as well, or the Twitter chain rather, with Ian. He really wanted you to pull for the Bowser, and I just kept sending back Bowser gifts. Oh, it was tons of fun. Absolutely love that whole chain.
It was a blast. I threw it out there in the morning, just kind of like messing around, but it was super fun. And like my only issue with Bowser is that I already have this big, heavy, like slow character, and I'm looking for something. Different than what I have already. So Bowser's great.
Yeah, you don't want to date the same type. You want to expand, have a little bit of variety.
I've got a blonde at home. I'm looking for a brunette or a redhead or something. Got to switch it up.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I mean that roster's just giant as well. What's that?
DDD's my blonde. But yeah, and it's expanding. We get Sora tonight. We get the last character in Smash Bros. Ultimate is dropping tonight. And I watched this amazing video on YouTube about like why Sora is important and why it's like a perfect character to like wrap this up with. And it's special. Like I didn't really care, like I'm not like a Sora person, but like there are a lot of people who like legit like cried over this, and like it's awesome. Good for them.
I mean, Sora could be the key to your roster needs over there, Josh.
God.
I mean, they also look friggin' broken, so I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
I'll toss it in the chat here in case anybody wants to check it out. But this is the video I watched, and this is it's the significance of Sora in Super Smash Brothers Ultimate, and it's like a 7-minute video, and the dude does a good job of explaining it.
Oh, sweet.
Now there was one video I saw on TikTok of apparently this teacher whose child was in the class convinced his parent / teacher to watch that Nintendo Direct where they announced the final character. And someone recorded him on TikTok. I'm pretty sure he was like a high schooler, and had a complete breakdown in like a positive way, just like overcome with emotion on that character announcement. And there's something that is always amazing and powerful when someone has a real reaction to something like that. Like, we all have a game that means something to us. We all have a character that means something to us. You know, I've talked about a bit on Level Up. Like, for me, it's Solid Snake for Metal Gear Solid. In Metal Gear Solid 4, when you go back to Shadow Moses and they play all the flashbacks and the audio cues softly in the background, I mean, I have no shame in saying it. I broke down. Like, that was a defining game in my childhood that meant a lot to me at where I was in my life. And then to revisit it all those years later, it was hard. Like, it was just hard to process. And for that kid in that moment, that meant the world to him. It was so important. And kudos to his parent for realizing that it was an important part of their child's life. And that, yes, give him that 5-minute break in class and watch the dang video. I mean, that was amazing.
No, I couldn't agree more. I think I've not played Kingdom Hearts. Have you guys played Kingdom Hearts?
No.
I played the original and I played 3.
It supposedly, you know, it gives you those feelings. Like, it's you know, wonder and amazement and I think, you know, these, you know, melding of worlds and things like that. It from what I understand, it's that whole vibe, and that is why it's so like perfect to cap off Smash Ultimate. And like, you know, we just always assume that there's going to be a next game, but like Smash Ultimate is probably Sakurai's last Smash game. Like, I don't know, is there going to be an Ultimate like Smash Ultimate like how, like, what do you do next?
I mean, Josh, it's Nintendo. They're going to make a new one, and they're going to sell it to you for $60 or $70. I mean, otherwise it'd be a live service game, right?
For $60.
I mean, they got to. It's Nintendo. You're going to have that every single time, and then they're going to remaster it probably later down the road.
No, and then
they're going to sell you some more controllers. They're legacy controllers for an upcharge, and maybe they'll throw another Nintendo Online service thing onto it. But that's just how Nintendo works. There's going to be another game. I wish they'd go full live service, but there'll be another game.
You guys have to check out, I'll send it to you guys. There's a video about Nintendo when they found out that Steam put out the Steam Deck, and it's amazing. It's absolutely incredible. I'm not going to try to ruin it or do like try to give you an example. I'm just going to send it to you. So yeah, you'll enjoy.
I mean, Nintendo's just amazing. Like, just the Switch in general, it had a 33-month consecutive streak of being the most sold console here in the US. 33 months, and that's through the Xbox Series X and S launch, the PS5 launch. It just now got dethroned in September by the PS5. That's absolutely insane.
It really is. I mean, it's probably the best console that I've ever used, and like for me, like I have a PC, so I don't need an Xbox or a PlayStation, and my Switch, you know, I can bring anywhere. I can play on a plane. I can watch YouTube and Netflix and whatever on it. It is a fantastic entertainment device, and I can hand it, I'll play it in my hands, and then I can toss in my dock and play it on my big screen. I mean, that's pretty awesome. You know, you can't play everything on there, but you know, it's pretty awesome.
I completely blanked what I was going to say. Oh, I remember. It was a joke on PlayStation. Can you believe that PlayStation was the one that dethroned it after you can't find the dang console anywhere in the US? It feels like. You know, is this one of those things where it's like, you know, yeah, it's crazy. And also, Yeah, they'll remaster it, but they'll also come out with another one, Joey. And what they'll do is not only will they charge you $70 for the game, but they will release characters in packs of 5 for an additional $30. Is what I think the next step for Nintendo will be.
I mean, I'll tell you guys, like, they're already in talks for characters. So they could have been characters for Ultimate that just didn't make it in, or maybe they're characters for down the line for a sequel. Master Chief was in talks. They were in talks with Bethesda. They were in talks with Ubisoft for Rayman. So there's a number of talks that were going on. Again, it could have been for Ultimate and they just didn't come through, but it could be for another game later down the road as well.
That's true. Totally right. And I mean, at the end of the day, we're sitting here like, oh, the video game companies are like, how dare they make money? Like, that's literally all they want to do. Like, that's the whole purpose for existing. I get it. Like, look, at the end of the day, we appreciate, what they make, and also we want to roast them, when appropriately.
Roasting feels like the only thing we did on Level Up last week. When it was absolutely fantastic. I completely blanked on what my next question was going to be, Joey. Do you have one?
I mean, I'd say we've covered SmashCon pretty well. We've covered some MAEC. What can you tell us about the Game Gym? Now, I know we've had you on before, Josh.
Yeah.
So some of the listeners have a basic idea of what the Game Gym is, and a lot of other listeners are here in the DMV, so they probably have been there or been a part of some event that you guys have done. But for the other listeners who might be newer, who might not have known what the Game Gym is, give us a little summary of what you do over there.
Sure. So we do it all. We do tournaments, we do events, we create content. We have a really robust summer camp program. But right now we are prepping for the championships of our MAEC season. So we have our winter games, December 4th to the 6th. It's going to be a little scaled down from what we've seen in the past. So we're just going to do one day of speakers on Saturday, tournaments on Saturday and Sunday. And then, we're already planning summer camps 2022. So Game Gym is going back live. We've done online camps the past 2 summers, but we are coming back live, and it's our goal to have 5 to 7 live camps from Baltimore to Richmond next summer. So we're going to be operating out of a number of different places, including our own location, and producing as many live camp experiences as we can. So that's super exciting. And then we also have a web platform that we're developing. So there's going to be a Game Gym app that people are going to be able to access. This is going to be super cool. I'm really excited about it. To me, this is the future of our program. And we're going to push both our camps and our online program going forward. And, what we've seen through COVID is that, people around the world are interested in our programming. We had campers join us from almost every single state and as far away as Dublin and Thailand. So, we're going to be, bringing our live camp experience back, but we're also going to be creating this application that's really going to help people learn how to practice esports better. That's our main goal. And so we're going to do it in a healthy, holistic way and give people a real template to build off of, so that they know how to train. I feel like a lot of people, they want to get better, but they just grind and they just play. But you need to develop certain skills, and without a coach, without a structure, without a season, it's really hard to put in that practice and know what to practice. So we're going to be answering that question here over the next couple months, and it's going to be really, really exciting.
Absolutely. And just to follow up here, you may not have to answer this fully. I don't know if there's anything going on behind the scenes, but one of the cool things that the Game Gym did pre-pandemic was your community flex events. And I had a chance to stop by several times to take in how great that was. Obviously, the pandemic absolutely just devastated a lot of things in this area. And Flex was an unfortunate casualty of the situation that we've all been in for what it feels like since March 15th, which was 600 days ago, but it feels like it's 600 days of March 2020. But nonetheless, are there any plans on Flex making a comeback? Are there any plans of maybe more in-person weekly events to help kind of bring that community back together coming out of, coming out of COVID, even though we're still in the thick of it, but still, as we progress to that point of whatever the new normal is going to be?
I would absolutely love to. To me, it was the absolute best. It was putting what we were built to do in practice, create a safe space for people to come and compete, get better, train, create community. It was the saddest part of moving out of our old venue was realizing that we were no longer going to be able to do that. So to answer your question, like, unfortunately, no, we don't have the size, we don't have the space to do it at our location. The location we have now is, really more of a broadcast center and storage, facility. But what we will start doing and what we are going to start doing is smaller invitational style tournaments. We're also going to combine it with some content. So when we meet people, we're going to do an interview. We're going to bring people in. We're going to bring in, 6, 8, 10 people and do smaller kind of summit is like Smash Summit is like kind of a local smaller event. It's summit style, where it's just kind of, interviews on the couches, super casual. But unfortunately, no, I like, as much as I want to, we don't have the facility to run Flex, and I think that I can't walk into somebody else's house and tell them the rules. And so, I worry that if we tried to do Flex somewhere else, that it wouldn't have the same vibe, and we wouldn't be able to enforce the same things. And so at this point, Flex is going to be put to rest and stay there, but we are going to be doing some new things in the future with the space that we do have. Hopefully in the future we'll be able to, go back to a larger venue, do that again, and I would love to be able to come back on this show with you guys and announce that Flex is back, because that would be just the friggin' coolest.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like that's one of the things too. Like, if Nintendo continues to hopefully upgrade their online service, that could be something that you guys could move online. And it's not the same full effect as being in person, but it's one way to at least continue that competitive spirit, at least for a while.
Yeah, I mean, the main thing is we want to support the community. The Smash community is awesome. And the other thing that that like kind of pains me is that we have all of these amazing young players who are getting into the scene right now. They're like 14, 15, 16, and they're like just Wi-Fi grinding. There's no scene for them locally to like come and create friendships, hang out, be a part of it. And that was something that we saw, our what we call our flexlings, like this group of players who grew up during the 2 years that we were running Flex. Some of them now are winning Xanadu. They're top 48 at Super Smash Con. Like, they're an incredibly talented group of competitors, and I feel I'm just sad that I can't support them more in the ways that I wish I could.
Absolutely. Yeah. And, it's just a very tough situation in the world at the moment. And, we try to find the positivity where we can. And for me, that's not turning my TV on. So I know, I feel like we all can relate to that right now at the moment.
Yeah.
But we don't want to end anything on kind of like a down note. Like, we want to bring the positivity back up here. So just one final fun question here for you. If there was one more character coming out in Smash and Nintendo called you and said, "Hey, Josh, we want you to pick that character. No pressure. What character would it be and why?"
All right, so there's kind of like two sides of this. I would either try to do something that like everybody would love, like people want like Waluigi or like that. Like, it'd be great to give a lot of people something that they want. Like, that would be great. There's other parts of me that would just love to pick like the trolliest of characters. And like, I can't even, like, I want to pick like Shaggy from Scooby-Doo. Like he's been flirted, like the Mortal Kombat guys have flirted putting with Shaggy into the game because they do some crossovers and things like that. But you know, like somebody just awful like Sheldon from that awful sitcom
Big Bang
or like
Theory.
yeah, Big Bang Theory. Just like what's something that just like would troll people so hard that they'd almost have to appreciate it. Like that's the character that I want. I don't know. Do you guys have any suggestions?
I kind of like
mean,
how
when you
he's
start
Shaggy.
saying troll the people, the first thing that came to mind for me, and this is funny because John and I talked about it on Level Up last week, is the Goomba from that original Super Mario Brothers movie.
Yes. That would
So
be amazing.
Bad. So
Yeah.
bad.
That movie is not as bad as you think it is.
No, it's terrible. I went back and rewatched it, and I literally said to myself, why do I enjoy torturing myself? It was just as bad, if not worse, than what I remembered. It's so bad. It's so bad. Like, Bowser's got blonde cornrows, essentially, and, like, people are genetically mutated into Goombas that are, like, 8'2" with bodies of, like, 8 lumberjacks put together with the head size of a 12-year-old. It's just the weirdest thing ever. Like, Yoshi does not look like Yoshi. It just, I don't know. It's like someone like was tripping on drugs and decided to write a Mario movie. I hate it. I'm sorry. I'm trying not to be negative. I'm trying to stay positive, but that movie absolutely tilts me.
Is it going to be better or worse than Chris Pratt and this new one coming out?
It's animated though. At least it's animated.
Thank God. Because at first I was like, Charlie Day's like 4 feet tall, and Chris Pratt is like, and Luigi is. How are they gonna do that? Like CGI, like. But I a lot of the casting I'm cool with. But Chris Pratt must have a great Mario in his back pocket, or else they wouldn't have cast him, right? Like they had to.
He released a video on his Twitter account, I think, where he said, in a very plain American accent, "It's a Mario," and everyone's like, "Huh?" And he was like, "Oh, I bet you all thought I was gonna do that. No, I can't let the cat out of the bag just yet." And I think like everyone is sitting there like on the fence with you, going like, "Can he actually do this? Like, does he actually have a decent Mario voice, or is this gonna be like a case of Sonic with the human teeth?" For his movie, and like the fans just absolutely outraged, and they have to recast it 3 months before it releases.
I'm very interested to see what happens. I mean, the main thing is like, I don't think any of the other casting you could really argue with. You know, like you got Jack Black as Bowser, like that's gonna be amazing. He always nails it. You have Seth Rogen as DK, like that's great. You got Keegan-Michael Key as Toad. You have Ann Taylor-Joy as Peach. Like all of those, I'm like totally cool with. But the one I can't hear this dude do the Mario voice. But I hope he does. Everybody thought Heath Ledger was gonna be an awful Joker. It was one of the best performances of all time. Ever since then, I try to give people the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, it's kind of like who's doing the new Batman? It's the guy
Pattinson.
from Twilight and the guy who couldn't make it through Harry Potter. I went there. I saw the reactions. It's fine. I don't care. He died. It's whatever. He was a Hufflepuff. No one cares.
Wow.
Joey's triggered. Sorry, Joe. I had to.
No, I think that movie, it looks interesting. They just dropped a new trailer for that, new Black Adam little teaser. They did the DC fandom was popping off this weekend, which is kind of cool. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens with the DCU, because it's been, I would say, a complete S show with then moments of individual brilliance, like the Joker movie and things like that. But that's not really part of the DCU. So hopefully they just, with Flashpoint and the Flash movie, they can just reset everything, recast everything, and that would be awesome. Michael Keaton coming back as Batman, that's pretty cool.
That is pretty sweet.
Yeah. That's something good. That's something good to go out on.
There you go. Joey, do you have anything else for our special guest today, the founder and CEO of Game Gym, a.k.a. our good friend Josh Hafkin?
I can't think of anything, Josh. You covered just about everything. Super Smash, MAEC, Game Gym. Is there anything else you would like to say to the audience?
Big events coming up. We have our Winter Games, December 4th to the 6th. There's Glitch Infinite at Xanadu, January 14th to the 16th. So if you're a Smash player and you are energized, sign up now because pricing escalates as it gets closer to the event. And I believe it goes up $10 next week. So, get your registrations in, and then you could start grinding, and you can grind with me because I'm going to be practicing. I'm going to play. And probably get worked, but whatever. Like I'll be there and trying to set a good example for the kids. So, if I can go in there and get beat up, they can do it too.
So sometimes it's not just about winning. Sometimes you have to get humbled when a 14-year-old absolutely kicks your butt in a video game.
It happens to me like daily.
So what's absolutely funny. Okay, last side story here before we head out here, because I know everyone needs to get going. One of the first times I met this famous person that goes to the Game Gym, that is now part of the OTN community. Yes, you're very close. Yeah, the one and the only T-Spans. He had me play a game with him. How was it, like Rivals of Aether or Aether, something like that?
Yeah.
And he goes, "Have you ever played this?" And I said, "I don't even know what this game is." And we go to play it, and he absolutely destroys me. And he's laughing like, if you know T-Spans, he has a very distinct laugh. And he's just absolutely geeking out that he just absolutely clinged my clock on this game. And I'm still trying to figure out what happened. It's a good humbling experience. Let's put it that way.
It totally is. You're totally right. And T-Spans is the best. So I don't get to see that kid as much as we used to. But T-Spans, if you're here or listening, hope you're doing well, man.
Absolutely. So that will do it for this week's episode of Game On DC. If you do enjoy listening and watching Game On DC, we want to hear from you. Leave us a review on your podcatcher of choice, whether it's Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, or anywhere else. We would love to hear from you. Don't forget to subscribe and follow us on social media to keep up with all the gaming and esports news here in the DMV. Joey, where can our listeners go to follow Game On DC?
Absolutely, listeners. Head on over to Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram and find us at Game On DC. We also check the hashtag GoDC. You can find our YouTube and Twitch at OTN Media as well. And last but not least, Josh, to shout out your stuff as well, ExtraBarbecue on Twitter. Also, Game Gym Esports just about everywhere. Twitter, Twitch, all of that good stuff as well.
All right, so make sure you tune in for our next episode. It's not next week. It's the week after. Reminder, we are on our off-season schedule with all the esports currently in the off-season. So we will see you all on November 1st as we continue to cover the latest and greatest in gaming and esports news here in the DMV. Make sure you do your ears and eyes a favor. Hit that sub and follow button to know when the next episode of Game On DC is ready for your viewing pleasures. We'll catch you all on November 1st. Enjoy your week. All right. So Josh, we're going to get you in on this too. I'm going to say, as always, and then we're all going to say, Game On DC. You ready? All right, we're going to try to do this. All right. And, as always,
Game on,
DC.